So awesome.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wannabes podcast. I'm Morgan Holsworth, and this is my fellow co-host.
What's up, everybody? I'm Luke Walters, and welcome to the first episode that we're doing live. And today we're going to cover Wonder Woman 1984. Spoiler warning, this thing is going to be super spoiler heavy.
Yes.
Morgan, do you want to start?
Oh, do I want to start? What do we want to do?
I'll start, but I feel like you've got more strong opinions than I do.
Well, what area do we want to dive into first? That's the biggest question. Do we want to get...
Go ahead.
I mean, guess what, guys? We have no box office stuff this time. There's been no information I have been able to find so far about box office. Have you found anything, Luke?
Yeah, there's been minor stuff. I think it only took him... Yeah, it for opening weekend, it took like 80 million or something. So it was not really an impressive number at all.
I mean, it's expected for for COVID, I guess. But damn.
I mean, well, you figure it's a big superhero movie, right? It's a tentpole movie. They were probably expecting millions, hundreds of millions of dollars instead of tens of millions. And I mean, it almost got there, but this is like, that's a number that you expected to make opening night, not opening weekend.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
Like, so it's if you just go off the numbers, it doesn't look good, but I don't know how you feel about it personally, but I enjoyed the movie for what it is, and I'm excited to get to that part. But yeah, if you want to lead off, go ahead.
I enjoyed the movie. Let's just put it that. There are certain things I have issues with.
Yeah.
Do I think I enjoyed the first one from 2017 more? Probably. But we'll get into it.
Only probably?
Definitely. It's a definitely.
Yeah, I definitely
enjoyed the first one better.
By the way, D. Smith is eating popcorn, and I know you're really happy.
I was actually about to bring that up. Eat even more popcorn for me, because I can't eat it right now. Because I won't subject you guys to hearing the munching. So
shit, I will. Don't fucking tempt me. I'll do it.
Unless you guys like the ASMR stuff, I can get you in on that. It's okay. Anyway.
Somebody that's watching is into it. I guarantee.
Also, DS Smith J2 and Kate Lane 27. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. And French Kitty, thank you so much for the follows.
There we go.
You guys are the best.
There we go. Keeping the dream alive. Teamwork makes the dream work, guys.
Y'all are great. So, if y'all don't know already, Wonder Woman 1984 is a 2020 American superhero film based on the DC comic character Wonder Woman. I hope you know that by now.
The title tells me that, but the movie doesn't tell me that. I got a different vibe from the movie.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a sequel to the 2017 Wonder Woman that was... Sorry, I'm gonna move my notes over here so I'm not like looking away from you guys. I wanna look at y'all. But this is the sequel to the 2017 Wonder Woman, and it is the 9th installment in the DC Extended Universe. So, just a little bit of info. This film was directed and written by Patty Jenkins, and she was also the director for the 2017 film. She was also one of the producers, and a tidbit of info that I don't know how many people know, that Gal Gadot, the person who plays Wonder Woman, she was also a producer on this film. So, Wonder Woman 1984 premiered on December 15th, 2020 via the DC Fandom virtual platform. It was then theatrically released in the United States by Warner Bros. On Christmas. You were able to watch it on Christmas. I agree. I think it could have done better not on Christmas, especially during a COVID Christmas. Come on.
Yeah. Fucking terrible.
But it was also, I mean, the way how Luke and I watched it, it was also made available to be streamed digitally on HBO Max for a month before it will go to premium video on demand. So y'all have a month to watch it on HBO Max if you have HBO Max. But So just if anyone is curious, international markets that do not have HBO Max, the film was theatrically released beginning on December 16th, and it has been praised so far for its escapist qualities, and many critics found it to be an overindulgent or to be kind of a cliche, but we'll get into it. But just so you know, a sequel is already in development with Jenkins and Gaddett returning. So, awesome.
Well, a couple things.
Yes.
First of all, it's pronounced Godot.
I know, I fuck it up every time. I really do. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am so nervous right now about, like, the show, because I'm like, it's our big, like, premiere, and I fucked it up real good.
Nope, you're doing great. Don't worry about it. It's just gonna keep going up. You're doing great. And I mean, we can always get more information when they take in the streaming and everything and the on demand and see exactly like how successful this movie was. Like I haven't seen too many reviews, especially like critical ones, I guess. So I don't know how it's doing critically, but we expected it to be kind of a financial dud just because of the fucking situation that we're in. So it is what it is. I'll wait a little bit and form an opinion off of that stuff later. But for right now, I mean, let's just get into it and start from the beginning because I didn't like the beginning of the movie.
With young Diana?
Yeah, the Amazon Olympics. I didn't like it.
Fucking
loved
loved
it. I will say it again. Spoilers.
Yes, spoilers. So, actually, the beginning, as cliche as it was, I enjoyed it. Because I really liked seeing all of these older women get their ass beat by a little tiny girl.
See, that is my problem with it because I didn't watch the first one before, and I didn't have enough time to watch it after. Like, I just got done watching this movie a couple hours ago. So I can't exactly remember because I'm pretty sure she was, like, forbid from being trained, and they were doing it in secret and all this stuff. And then even in the first film, when they show Diana a little bit older and she's fighting her aunt, like, she still doesn't seem like she really knows what she's doing. So for this little girl in this movie to be a fucking beast and just be wrecking these adults, I was like, I think you're fucking up your own continuity just a little bit.
You know, I will say that is fair because it's been since probably 2017 since I watched the first film. So we should go back and watch that and kind of see like what the continuity
I don't remember
is there.
most of it. I don't remember enough of it. It's just you know, little things like that. And it's just for them to bring that up and have the flashback, which I don't think is necessary to be at all. I don't even think it needs to be in the movie. Just to throw back to that, continuity just seemed a little off to me. I could be wrong.
Let's be real. It was just so they could have Robin Wright and Connie Nielsen in it again. But
oh, sure.
That's just so they can show them. They're amazing. I love them so much. I will say that I can't remember exactly per se, like word for word, what Diana says, especially in Gail's voice. Gail or Gail?
Her narration?
Her narration in the beginning was hardcore foreshadowing for what the end message was for this film.
Correct. And given that and the fact that they still showed the message that they were trying to have at the end of the movie, I don't like how they went about it was stupid because they have Diana cheat, right? Mm-hmm. To almost win, and she gets stopped and she gets this lecture, and it's like the message is how they force feed Diana the message of like you cheated and that's not good and like accept the truth and all this shit. Like that's cool, but like she also because all right. The whole setup for the Amazon Olympics is they're doing basically this triathlon, and they're shooting arrows at these targets, and they have to hit a target. It's like a check mark. And at the end of the race, Diana gets a little full of herself. She falls off a horse because they're riding horses, and she takes a shortcut to get ahead of everybody, and she misses a target. Just stick with that. They don't even talk about her missing the target. They just go to, you cheated. They could have been like, no, you lost because you missed this target. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. Like, that's the truth, too.
I don't think it was necessary that you had to make the target. I think it was just necessary that you had to make it. That was just an additional obstacle.
That was my opinion, because if that's the case, then why are they all shooting the fucking arrows at the targets?
Because it's an additional obstacle to make just riding a horse over there harder.
But so that to me means you have to hit the target. If you don't hit the target, you don't win.
Sure. But I also
And
didn't have that big of an issue with that specific thing.
well, those are the two issues I had with it. The fact that she was wrecking these seasoned adults,
Fucking love that.
and she cheated instead of, no, you missed a checkpoint. You can't win. Go back. Anyway, your turn.
Sure. I mean, I enjoyed that section. It was just kind of like, it was nice. I'm not saying I enjoyed it because of it really fit into the film. Because it didn't kind of... I think it was just maybe to also show people, to remind people this is where she came from.
Yeah.
Because,
Sure.
I mean, sure, there may be a few people who are watching this film who don't know, but...
I suppose, but if you've seen the first one, she says it, like, all the time that she's from Themyscira, and then if you watch Justice League, she says in Justice League a lot that she's from Themyscira, so it's like...
And she does bring it... She also does bring it up later in the movie as well. But it's a little more quick. Anyway.
Well, it's the sequel, so I guess by this point, like you said, this is the 9th movie in this universe, so you should be caught up, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. You should know what's going on.
Agreed. So, I don't know what your plans and what things you wanted to hit on specifically are, Luke, but I do have things to say about what happens next within the...
We talking about the mall?
The mall, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, go to the mall, please.
So, in the mall, if you guys haven't watched the film yet, they're basically it is 1984. Like, malls are now a thing, and they show as many things as they want to make America look terrible, and that, like, fat guys like going ham on a hamburger. But anyway, that aside,
yeah, a lot of forced access messages and shit.
Yes.
I mean, fine, that's cool, but it's very on the nose.
Yeah. But there was a jewelry store that was basically a front and had a black market thing behind the scenes.
Yeah, that shit comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's just so that how they can get her to... We'll get there. Anyway, there's basically these people, these robbers, who come and be like, listen, I know what's back there. I won't tell if you won't tell. Let us back there to get stuff. And they're just like grabbing literal gold bars and other stuff. And then later, my biggest issue with it is, firstly, I don't know if anyone here has ever held a gold bar in their hand. They are hefty. And they just leave and he just throws the bag to one of the guys and it hits him in the stomach and he grabs it. But there's no struggle as if there's actually gold bars in there. I'm like, that would not have gone that smoothly. Like,
I just want to say that of this whole sequence and kind of so much for this whole movie, like, I had so much fun with it because I watched the 3rd best Spider-Man movie ever made. That whole scene and then the subsequent and then everything else after, especially when Diana shows up and she fights as Wonder Woman, I was like, this is a fucking Spider-Man movie.
So one thing is about the whole fighting scene, because that's where I wanted to go next with this,
Yep.
and this has gone on through the entire film. Whenever she does her movements, she's very still.
I know what you're talking. I only noticed it one time, and it's later on in the movie. But I only noticed it once. Everything else didn't really bug me, other than the fact that she's literally swinging in to fucking fight and save people. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't she have a sword and a shield in the last movie?
I feel like she did at some point.
She did. That's a rhetorical question. She totally did. And now she just has the whip, and she's fucking Spider-Man.
I mean, the whip is more put towards the traditional.
Sorry, the lasso. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the lasso. The lasso of truth is more traditional Wonder Woman. But
no, I get that. And the lasso shows up in the previous movie, but like it made more sense why she was using it instead of just that.
Well, my biggest issue is that she was very, like, still whenever she was swinging, which really took away from their illusion of it, because for me, that immediately shows, okay, they're doing all of this on a wire because she is so still. Which, no big deal, But I just felt like they could have done a little bit more to make it feel more, give a better illusion to it, and to hide it more.
Yeah, well, I'm not kidding that this movie really felt like a Spider-Man movie to me. But if she does too many movements, then she's gonna legit look like Spider-Man. So you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful because Spidey, when he swings, he's constantly moving. Everything moves.
I mean, yes, that is true.
So,
but I mean, it would give it a more. It would give that action sequence a more realistic feel.
Well, that's
my biggest thing behind it.
That's an overall problem that I do have with this movie, is that the previous one felt really grounded up until the ending.
Mm-hmm.
This one does not, up until the ending.
Yes, I 100% agree with you.
We're gonna get there, but the last half hour of this movie is the best part.
Also, if anyone doesn't know, this film is 2 hours and 31 minutes long.
Yeah, so 2 hours are okay.
Yeah.
If you think of it as a Spider-Man
They
movie.
could have probably have done this in like an hour and a half or less.
2 hours if they take out the opening. 2 hours.
Sure, but it could have been done quicker too.
I don't have a problem with the length. I mean,
I don't have a problem with the length. I just have a more so of a problem with like some of the stuff that happened during that length.
correct.
That's the biggest thing. Like, I can sit down and watch extended Lord of the Rings back to back, so I have no problems with time.
Right. Well, I mean, okay, so but this mall shit though, it is fun. It is fun. I did have a good time with it.
It's cute. It's quirky. It's
cheesy.
It's cheesy.
Good ways.
Yeah, like the cheesiness happens the entire way through the movie.
Yeah, but there's a lot of shit in the movie, but in this part too, where like just people are just getting in the way for no reason. Like the little girl that she fucking bowls into the teddy bear. that was cute. I dug that.
That was cute.
But like this little girl is standing next to her mom and just gets all like wide-eyed and shit and just wanders into the battlefield, and then Wonder Woman's got to take time out of stopping these robbers to literally bowl this little girl across the fucking floor and then take out the bad guys. Like, and that's not the first time or the last time that it's not the first time it happens. It won't be the last that it happens in this movie either with kids.
Correct. I mean, literally, the whole reason she showed up was because he was dangling a girl over a balcony. But that's not the girl intentionally getting in the way, though.
Well, no, and then like so the whole setup is like she's out saving the city, right? She stops the car, she fucking does the mall thing. She doesn't stop the kids from robbing the one store. But
well, also the ones who robbed the store, when they were running away, they hit the bride and groom, and the bride was over, and she saved the bride. So I mean, you get this like quick sequence showing that basically she is Washington D.C.'s superhero.
Correct. Yeah, and that was cool. So it's just it was cool to see that like she kept doing this stuff and ended up there because she's already out and about, instead of other movies where the hero is just always conveniently where the crime is going on.
Yeah, and later later on you find out she has like basically a little room that just is like security cams and everything. So
CCTV.
Yeah,
I like her job in this movie. I like that they use her skills and the fact that she has all this knowledge and this talent, that she has like a really legit job. That was cool.
I love it so much. Okay, so like I'm a huge like history, like gemology, like all that kind of stuff nerd. Oh my god, I love it. Like growing up, I wanted to either go into filmmaking, I wanted to go into being a historian, or I wanted to be an astronaut. Those are my three choices for life.
Yeah, you picked the wrong career. You fucked up.
It's okay. It's fine. So the thing is in filmmaking, you
could be in space right now.
In filmmaking, I can go anywhere that my imagination lets me go. So that was my way around everything. And also, thank you, That Dreaded Fiend, for the follow. We love you. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Yeah.
So
the job's cool.
The job is great.
Meeting frumpy Kristen Wiig was cool too, because I love Kristen Wiig.
I love Kristen Wiig. The only issue that I have is because she ends up becoming like
she ends up being a bad guy,
partial villain.
Yeah,
kind of. I hate that the biggest part is there is like kind of like there's not like full jealousy, but like it's kind of like the villainy is formed by somewhat jealousy, and it's just why?
No, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
It's just why?
Because what's the whole catalyst of this?
I know why, but why?
So like you said, the whole thing starts with the heist, right?
Yes.
And Diana works for the Smithsonian, and the Smithsonian is like, hey, there's this robbery. They have all these illegal goods. The FBI is going to bring them to us. We need to identify this stuff. And they come across the stone. And this certain stone is called the Wish Stone, I believe, or the Dream Stone, some shit.
The Dream Stone.
Right? Dream Stone.
I think it's called both, but we have a good old Maxwell, or Max Lord. He calls it the Dream Stone.
Hey, if you're finishing the film right now, buddy, then you can type out your opinions in the chat.
Yes, please. We would love to hear them, and we would love to discuss upon what you think as well.
That'd be great. So they end up getting the fucking Dreamstone, and it's got Latin on it, and Diana reads it and says, like, this thing will grant you one wish, right? And it starts out just like, it seems like convenience, because the dude grabs it and he goes, I want a coffee, and somebody walks in and was like, hey, I got this person a coffee, and they don't want it, and he goes, I'll take it, you know? So it seems like it's all coincidence. And then, of course, because if you've seen a fucking trailer, and I know most of you have, you know that Steve Trevor comes back in this film, and he comes back because Diana uses it and wishes to see Steve again.
Yep.
And
she doesn't say it. She thinks it while she's staring at the stone. So just so if anyone's ever confused, that's how she gets her wish. And I kind of wish they didn't show him in the trailers, but I mean, also once you learn there's like any of that surprise was gone. The biggest surprise was that he was in another man's body.
Yeah, that gets really funny for me later.
Yes,
that gets really fucking funny. And so that the big bad of this film is the stone.
Yes.
Like, there really isn't a villain, really. It's the stone ends up making these villains. And Pedro Pascal plays the real villain, I guess, in this movie. And for those of you that don't know, or you should know, he is Mando. He is the Mandalorian.
Clean shaven, no little thing going.
He's so fucking funny in this movie.
He really is.
It's great. I love him being in this fucking movie.
He did well, and it was so like, I was kind of like, had to remind myself that it was actually Pedro because the whole accent and like, because I'm so used to listening to him as Mando now.
See, that's the thing, and like I that got brought up to me too. Is like, is that his real accent? I don't think so. I don't think so. Real accent.
I think so. I think that you're right.
Yeah, this is him dialing it up, because everything about his performance in this movie is dialed up to like 1,000.
He is the oil man from TV.
Yeah, he's basically overacting, but it works.
Yes. It's so over the top that it's just on point.
Yeah.
But
what do you got? No, it's yours.
So, oh my God, do I love the fact that they made her a historian with it, especially within cultural and anthropology. Like, fuck yes, let her. Wonder Woman, Diana. Like, let her take all of that info she already naturally knows, and also she can speak Latin. She can speak a couple different other things. Like,
she can speak every fucking language.
Yeah. Like, let her take that knowledge she has, and it gives her a good front to cover up the knowledge that she knows that most people wouldn't know.
Yeah, well, like, she's smart, but she plays it off to where she's not too smart, right?
Yeah. Also,
and Kristen Wiig has a bunch of shit, a bunch of degrees and stuff that she's good at, and they're like, hey, so it's just, okay. First of all, a lot of the characters, which adds to the cheesiness, are like just too cartoonish. I mean, Kristen Wiig pulls it off, but I'm gonna do this the whole fucking review, but she reminds me of
all right, what Spider-Man character?
Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. like she's fucking Max from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I can't confirm that.
Jamie Foxx's character, the dude with the fucking gap in his teeth.
Yeah. I don't hate on me, guys. I have not seen the Amazing Spider-Mans just yet. But
get out!
You already knew this.
Over.
You knew this already.
I blocked it out.
But we will be doing reviews on those soon, so you'll get like a fresh mind to them. But anyway.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah. So, I agree. They were very, very cartoonish. Everyone was. Like, also, so you basically get to see Kristen Wiig, like, her character just not walking well in heels, and she, like, is just looks relatively a mess.
She's frumpy.
Yeah, she's frumpy. That's a good way to put it. And she, like, literally pulls out her briefcase and just everything opens and falls over, and then just two assholes just, like, keep walking. And it's like, who does that? Like,
well, immediately after that, Diana shows up and starts talking to her, and Diana doesn't even really want anything to do with her.
I know! It's like...
Nobody wants anything to do with this girl. It's not until later because, she stopped the heist and she's got already some kind of vested interest in these items that, that leads us to the fucking wish gem, dreamstone, what the fuck. It is the dreamstone. I need to get it right. And then they have another conversation and it's kind of forced, but again, it's because it's Kristen Wiig, it works, where she's like, oh, thank you for talking to me, nobody talks to me, and then Diana's like, all right, we're going to get food right now, and now we're friends.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, I kind of like it, I kind of partially understood it, like, the first time I watched it, because I've watched it twice now, the first time I watched it, I was like, damn, Diana's being kind of like a bitch right now. But the second,
she's got shit to do, man.
And then the second time, you were able to kind of see more of the. No, she's like, I'm sorry, I'm busy right now. I do have basically, I'm at work. I gotta go do work. So yeah, Diana has good work ethic. Everyone.
Her line, Kristen Wiig's line though, of like, do you want to get lunch? Oh, not right now, but like at some time when there is a lunch. It's like, all right, that's kind of funny.
That is cute. She had a couple cute like witty little lines like that, but. I mean, that's basically the introduction. Then you have, like, the whole thing where, like, the person who hired her last week doesn't remember who Barbara is. And I don't know. That was, like, kind of pushing it, in my opinion. But yeah. I don't know. It was weird. Because it seems like she's been there for that full week. But it also almost seems like it's her first day at the same time. It was very weird because I couldn't tell, like, oh, she's like, oh, hi, Jake, to the asshole who wouldn't help her pick up stuff. And I don't know. It's just like, it's very weird how they had that constructed. But it's all just to really show, like, no one cares about this person. And just it shows how highly insecure she is as well.
Correct. And she is megally insecure. And by the way, Fiend, I will get to you later on towards the end. Because I like everything that you typed out. But I'm going to get to you. Don't worry. So I'm going to skip them eating because I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna jump right into Barbara walking home, and she goes by the homeless dude and shows that she's really nice because it's a nice contrast to what she turns into later on. But the cartoony rapist dude that's in this movie, I was like, okay, like it's a bit much, especially later on because he shows up again, right? He shows up again, and the way that they frame it, actually, I don't even care that I'm getting ahead of myself. So Barbara runs into this drunk dude who tries to force himself on her. Diana shows up and takes care of him and saves her. Okay? Fast forward to later, Kristen Wiig's character, Barbara, comes across him again. He's still drunk and being rapey. And it gets handled differently. But the way that they frame it is to make him seem like he's sympathetic. And I'm like, no, I'm rooting for him to get his ass beat because he's so fucking over the top and cartoony. Like, whoop his ass.
The second time that we saw him, I'm like, I know you're going to become the villain, Barbara, but fuck him up.
Yeah, well, because and they try to frame it like it's a bad thing what she's doing. Like, no. This dude deserves to get his ass whooped, and she does. It's wonderful.
Yeah, but that is also, I think, to show. So, when she's walking home, because this is important. When she's walking home, she has the homeless guy, the I can't remember his name, what she calls him, but she gives him like her leftover food from her dinner with Diana, and he says to her, "Is like, oh, in the late night," and she's like, "Yeah, I got some more work I gotta do." So she's like, she tells like he's like, "Oh, let me walk you home," and she's like, "I'm not going home." She wasn't. She was going back to the Smithsonian, and
you're talking about the drunk dude, right?
yeah, but I'm like the really sweet black guy that was the homeless guy that she had a fuck off that she. That she had a really, like, there's obviously some sort of rapport and connection with one another. And that kind of shows, like, her warm heart.
Yeah.
And then later, when you see the drunken guy again and she beats the shit out of him, that guy was there and was like, "Barbara, what are you doing?" And she's like, "Mind your own business." And leaves.
She giving everybody the cold shoulder later on in the movie.
Yeah.
I like, because what is it? Right after that, so Pedro Pascal plays Maxwell Lord. I don't know if he said that yet. And Maxwell shows up to the Smithsonian because he's looking for the Dreamstone. He knows that the Smithsonian has it. You find out later on how long he's actually been looking into this. But yeah, he shows up, he's making a donation, and he gets a tour around the building and stuff, and he immediately starts playing Kristen Wiig's character because he's... What does she have it in her office? Because that's the night after that encounter. That's the night that she makes her wish, which is
to be like Diana.
Yeah, to be all strong and popular and shit. And actually, you know what? As far as wishes goes, not a bad one.
No, I mean it came out pretty damn good. I mean, I would love to do I would love to just look like Diana. Holy cow, is she hot? She is gorgeous. She is so gorgeous.
Yeah, you know what you have to do to look that gorgeous? You need to be a part of the Israeli military. So, enlist.
Sorry, that was good. That was funny. That was good.
Thank you. I'll be here for another hour. But yeah, so Barbara makes the wish, immediately starts seeing results because people are already starting to look at her a little bit differently. She can balance on heels now, because that's a super serious plot development that we needed to get into our brains.
You know what?
That heels now.
I can understand how much you dislike it, but I'm 100% okay with it because I'm a woman and I understand.
I, to a point, understand the struggle because of the women in my life. I understand, but I don't need you to keep focusing on her fucking heels and the fact that she can walk in them.
It was just the ongoing, quick, easy trope they could do the entire movie.
Well, okay, so it's like, here, you get superpowers. You got super strength, super hearing, you got laser vision, you can walk in heels. Awesome, sign me up. Fuck flight. I don't want flight. I just want to be able to walk in some fucking heels. That's my superpower.
I mean, running in heels, that's a different story.
You know what? And actually, I felt bad. I don't know how, because there's a lot of shots of heels in this movie. There really is. Even for Wonder Woman, like, they did so many shots of Wonder Woman and, like, put emphasis on showing the heels in the frame. Excuse me. That I was like, did she have those heels on in the first one? I'm going to have to go back and check.
The wedges? Like her wedged boots? I'm pretty sure she did, to be honest.
I think she did too, but like, there's no emphasis on it in the first one because it doesn't matter. But in this one, there's so many shots of these fucking heels.
Hold on, I'm looking at images right now.
I didn't realize the big emphasis for Wonder Woman was her heels.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Part of me that I hesitate to say this, but it kind of like shows that there are some women behind the writing of it because they understand the pain.
I guess, sure. Yeah, I mean, you're the woman here, so I'll take your word for it.
No, so far from anything that I see of the 2017's Wonder Woman, I see nothing about her heels, but these are just images. So,
I'm pretty sure I'm right about this.
I think you are. I would give you that.
Yeah, thank you. I'm always right. So just moving along now. Just to move it along. So what comes after? Oh yeah, so Max goes back to his office, and it's like he walks in through the front door, and it looks all nice. It looks fancy, right? He's got receptionists and shit. It looks like he's got like some security there, and then he goes up the elevator to whatever main floor he works on, and it's just nothing. It's all like dusty and like there's nothing in there.
Until you get into his office.
Yeah, so you get into his office, but as far as like that big area, there's fucking nothing there. It looks like you know those scenes in the deserts where like the fucking dust bunny thing goes around.
The tumbleweed.
Like yeah, the fucking tumbleweed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then you see that he has a son, and my favorite character in this movie is the son.
Oh, he's
Alistair
pulls at the heartstrings. So good.
He's fucking sweetest kid ever. He steals this entire movie, as far as I'm concerned. He's fucking wonderful. And then that's when you find out that Max is just kind of like treading water. He's really not successful. He has no money. He's just been borrowing and just putting everything off to the side, just hoping something works out. Basically, he's just like, I need to stay above water until I get this fucking stone. I don't really know too much about the business partner dude that shows up, because he's talking to a business partner who just essentially shows up just to call him a loser and then leave.
I mean... Yeah, basically he's like probably his biggest investor. Yeah. Well, that's what he is, and he basically like has the I'm blanking on the. Hold on, maybe I have it in my notes. Is it like Gold Corp or something like that?
Black Gold.
Black Gold. That's what it is. Thank you. So yeah, it seems like he kind of has like more of the control over Black Gold. I think
it's just because he's the biggest investor, right? That's why.
And that could have been why.
Yeah. He's put in probably the most money, and then so have other people. So, as far as Maxwell Lord is concerned, he probably has like no ownership because he doesn't, because it shows up later on in the movie when he gets his powers that he gets his control back. Yeah. Right. He doesn't have it right now. I like what they do with that. How they make him a supervillain. I'm gonna jump ahead some more unless you got something that you really want to get right now.
That's totally fine.
All right, so now we're at the point where, I didn't even say it, because Maxwell Lord gave such a big donation to the Smithsonian. They throw a party basically so he can come out and like put on a show and be like, hey, I'm giving you all this money. So we cut to that where Diana shows up because she's looking. I think she's trying to get information on the stone, right? That's why she goes there.
Well,
she's not actively looking for the stone yet, I think.
No, I think she was going for. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember.
Because she first says that she's not going at all.
Yeah, I think then she was like, "Oh, I'll see you there." Like, Barbara says that to him, and I think part of it was just being like, Diana like hardcore takes on the protective mama role of Barbara, and
so she thinks she went there for Barbara.
I think she was just there to like make sure Barbara was going to be okay and be safe.
Fair enough.
And
which not.
No, but then we have a certain Mister show up.
Yes. Well, the whole point I'm getting to this is Max's in to get his hands on the stone, right?
Correct.
He puts moves on Barbara.
He seduces her too easy. But
yeah, he takes advantage of her and gets his hands on the stone. But as you were saying, go for it.
I mean, during this time, so you see Diana going through and like basically looking for. Well, she's been really focused on Max the entire time.
Right. Because I think I do think she's there to try and get info on the stone or get info on him. Something.
Yeah. So, during this time, like, she loses Max, I believe. She loses, like, beat on him, and so she's, like, looking around, and there's this man who keeps following her, and she's like, I don't know who you are, basically, leave me the F alone. And then he just kind of says to her, like, we don't have much time. And she turns around pissed. Like, why are you saying this to me? You don't know who I am. You are not allowed to say that to me. And then goes through the whole, short monologue that Steve originally had with her in the first film, and then presented the watch.
Yeah, that whole thing, I thought for sure when Steve Trevor shows up in this movie, because in the trailer it's Chris Pine, but when they showed him, I was like, did they just fucking bait and switch us? And this dude, they're gonna be like, it's his like conscience in this dude, but I'm gonna have to look at this dude the whole time. But they don't. They do the whole thing where like, yeah, he's in another dude's body, but Diana only sees Steve, so therefore you see Chris Pine the whole time.
Yeah.
But really, it's this other dude. And I bring this up because they do bone. they bone in this movie, and so Diana essentially has sex with another man.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious to me, because they kind of bring it up as a little bit of a joke later on in the movie. It's hilarious. I don't know.
I enjoy what happens near the end, but anyway.
Yeah.
Um.
So the team's back together, sort of.
Kind of. A little different. There were some cute like moments, even with them basically trying to get him in like proper dress attire. That was funny. That was a cute little tidbit, and I will say I absolutely adored her taking him around the city.
Oh yeah, because they swapped it, right? The fish out of water in the first movie is Diana, and now it's Steve.
Yeah. And I adored that. I thought it was really cute, especially like the funny joke with like, "This is art," and he goes towards the trash can. She's like, "No, that's that's just trash. I got it." I'm like, okay, shit. Like that was cute. There was some cute little quirky things that I could enjoy, even though it was cheesy. I could enjoy it. And then she takes him to like the space and like the aircraft museum. That was awesome. Like seeing him geek out was fantastic.
Yeah.
So
that whole thing, that's the best part. So, but like the whole point of, so they go through the whole thing of getting Steve up to date, and while this is going on, Max he now has his hands on the stone. He actually does the smartest fucking thing ever, and he makes himself the stone. He says, "I wish to be the stone." So he is now.
I don't know if it was smart.
It does end up being smart. I mean,
it was a smart thing, but in the long term, nah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it wasn't for the fact that he is going to, destroy humanity, he's totally in control. He is winning, right? Like everything's going his way. He is a supervillain that is going to win in this film. It just means everybody else has to go. But his whole plan is to go get oil. That's his whole thing. His whole scheme is to be an oil baron, essentially, and then he goes to Egypt and fucking uses his powers and starts amassing his wealth and getting his power, and at the same time cause a global conflict.
Yep. I mean, I like what they kind of did, and I found it interesting how like their cue for any time a wish happened was wind. After he got, it was different.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was okay. I mean, I get it. You needed something.
Yeah.
But
it's fine. I don't know what else she would have done. It's fine. It just looks like little like model glamour shots type things, with the wind and shit. Whatever. It could have been way worse.
That is 100% accurate. It could have been way worse. But
how did you feel about the? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go.
Well, how do you feel about the action scene that follows this? Because I didn't like it.
I mean, I don't really like enjoy a majority of the action scenes in this, but
I really didn't like this one. I didn't like it.
Just refresh me if I'm wrong. Is this the one in Egypt?
Yes.
Yeah, hated it.
I didn't hate it, but I did not like it. It wasn't good.
That's fair.
This is the scene. This is the part where I was like, okay, now I know what Morgan's talking about, where she looks really, really fucking stiff because it has the close up. It's like this, and you can see the terrible green screen in the background, and she's supposed to be running really fast, right? But she just goes like this.
Yeah.
And it's so close, and I was like, okay, now I know what Morgan's talking about. That sucked.
Thank you.
and like as far as just comparing it to the first one, so in the first one she has that awesome scene where she goes into the trench, right? No man's land.
Yeah.
The whole thing, she's like, I'm not a man, and she goes and she fucks everything up. That's what it felt like they were trying to do here, but it didn't work.
So my biggest thing for all of this film, for all of the action sequences in this film. Now, hold on. So during this like actual action sequence that we don't like,
I like how they got Steve involved though. That was cool.
I did enjoy that. I will say though that Diana gets hurt.
Yeah,
and
that was cool.
And she doesn't immediately heal. like she normally
Right.
would, and that's kind of like our thing to show, like, oh shit, Diana's kind of, something's going wrong with Diana. And that was kind of like our little like hint that something's happening to her powers. Yeah. And later on we learn a little bit more detail as to why. And
I had to think about that for a second, because in the first film she's getting shot at, but it's like she's so fast and she has the fucking shield, right? So that's why she doesn't take any damage in the first one. And then in like Batman vs Superman and Justice League, it's like the same deal. So to me, it wasn't that she couldn't take damage. It's that she's so good that she doesn't get hit. So in this film, when she actually got hit, it took me a second, and I was like, well, she's not Superman, so of course she's going to take some damage. But then, you know, they'd say why she's losing her powers, and I was like, oh, she is invulnerable. I didn't think about it like that. I just thought she was that good.
Sorry.
You looking at comments?
Yeah, I was looking at Dreaded's comment.
You know, but that's what I'm saying though. It's like she's portrayed like not OP, because Superman is OP, but
yeah, she's not portrayed as being invulnerable in that more physical sense. It's just that, I mean, that's our first like notice and like hint to something.
Yeah, and she actually can take damage. So I was like, oh, all right. I mean, I just went, yeah, no, she's Wonder Woman. She can get hit. But it was like, no, she's losing her power. And I went, I mean, all right.
So if anyone watching doesn't know, my boyfriend's name is Dan, and the majority of times I watch these films with him before I go and review them. And both, like, I looked at it, I'm like, God damn it, Barbara's taking her powers. She's losing them. I was like, she's losing them because Barbara wished to be her. I didn't think of what the actual reason was yet, but that's what I thought she was losing her powers.
Yeah, so those two things are what went through my head. By the way, since we have more viewers, thank you everybody for being in chat and watching this. Spoilers.
Yes, spoilers. So many spoilers. One day when I have the stream deck I want to get, we'll have a little button that I can occasionally hit that'll just be like, spoiler warning.
That'd be great.
But this action sequence could have been better. It could have been worse.
Yeah.
But they could have done so much more to make it better. And my biggest issue is, so what I was going to say, but I had to rewind for this, was this is, granted, we know she's losing her powers. That put aside, the entire action in this film is just kind of meh. And I don't mean meh like it's bad, or it just didn't have the like epic action feel that the first one had. And that's what I was going and hoping for. Like the first one, I left the theater like, holy shit, I'm back with DC. DC, you're doing good again. No, Justice League comes on, but
Justice
League. So, I loved how they did all of the action and everything else that happened in the first film. And I'm like, where was that? Like, why wasn't that here? Why wasn't that here? Come on.
I don't know. So what? Like I said, the first action sequence is corny and cheesy, and it reminded me of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. Which I get the vibe for the whole movie, but like shit like that, I'm watching a fucking Spider-Man film. The second action sequence was very meh, and then we'll get to the third one. But that's like I said, that's when it gets good.
That's when it gets good. But the action in that later half doesn't hit the tier of the first one, which disappoints me because it's still directed by the same person.
Correct.
And I'm like, come on, if it was a different director, I may have been a little bit more like.
I have an opinion on that I'll save until the ending.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
So just to keep it moving, shortly after this is immediately when like all the characters come together, right? Everybody's got their information, and that's when they say, which I don't think this was necessary to actually refer to this now as the monkey's paw. Like, I feel like that's self-explanatory already. You can kind of
Sure.
see that coming. You don't actually have to call it the fucking monkey's paw because it has a name. Keep calling it the fucking Dreamstone. It sounds way better
Yeah.
anyway.
Also, don't confuse people. Because
Right.
there's
So,
maybe some people who can't keep up that quick and will get confused.
and essentially because the thing that happens is after Maxwell Lord says, "I wish to be the Dreamstone," the actual like stone part of the Dreamstone disappears,
Yes.
and there's a ring left. And Diana finds the ring and she looks at it and it's got language on the side, kind of like the fucking ring from Lord of the Rings. And she goes, "This is God. This is the language of the gods." And she essentially says that this stone was created by Loki. And I'm only saying that because I can't remember the name of the god that's actually created by. But it's the same fucking thing. It's a god of mischief.
Yeah, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but
Yeah,
yes.
So they fucking found Loki's stone, essentially. And that's when they find out that, yeah, you can make a wish and it'll come true, but you're going to lose something. And if it gets too out of hand, every civilization that has had this stone ends up disappearing. So if you fuck around too much, you're all going to die. Unless you either destroy the stone or renounce your wish, right? Those are the rules now.
Yes, so basically, you have to... And it was basically found out that during this... Because they ended up going to, like, this Mayan shaman guy after their thing in Egypt.
Yeah, they went and saw me after I've had too much weed. That's who they go and talk to. They go and talk to me when I'm completely blitzed out of my mind.
Yeah, so they go to, like, after they get back, she basically, when in Egypt, calls Barbara and, like, "I need you to find out whatever you can on this stone. I need to know where it's from." I enjoy that scene, actually.
When they all come together?
Yeah,
right?
so...
The read the book? Yeah, I like it.
I really enjoy that because I'm a sucker for, like, a good, like... I don't want to say treasure hunt kind of movie.
Reveal.
But
you like the reveal part, don't you? Everybody comes together. They have the Eureka moment. You like that, don't you?
I mean, yeah. Also, Eureka was a great show, but
Never seen it.
it was very quirky and cheesy.
Don't have me.
But anyway, it was just kind of a... I love, like, kind of like, think of like Indiana Jones or the Mummy, like those type of like history kind of like treasure hunt stuff.
I've never seen Indiana Jones. Again, don't at me.
You've never seen Indiana Jones?
I've never seen Indiana Jones.
What the fuck? How am I friends with you? I mean, I ask myself that already, but even more now.
Wait, you're not the only one.
Yes.
Watch the comments.
Yes. Everyone. Okay, Dreaded, stop. Don't join him.
Oh, he hasn't seen it either?
No. You guys are gonna sit down and we're gonna watch them, and
Yeah,
we will do a group review on them.
We're doing Godzilla first.
That's fine. That's 100% fine. Anyway, sorry. I love those kind of films, especially Mummy. Oh my gosh, the old mummies were my shit. Fucking loved them.
Wait, time out. Define the old ones.
Well, the ones that are old for me is the ones with Brendan Fraser.
Get the fuck out of here! All right, we can't do this right now. We're doing Wonder Woman. Stop it.
I know there are older ones, but I've watched them so long ago that I can't remember them that well. But anyway, I love that kind of like it kind of like them coming together with the Mayan shaman.
Sorry.
After like going to the Mayan shaman, like basically going through that old ass tome, like just kind of like gave like little nods for me, like to those old type of films when they're trying to figure out the big mystery of the old relic. And I really enjoyed that, and I thought it was a great scene, and it allowed us to see someone slightly outside the circle, which could be an interesting asset down the road. I don't know if it ever will happen again, but he might be interesting to see pop up once in a blue moon. But this basically, you learn that the Mayan civilization, which I thought was interesting, the entire Mayan civilization got fucked by the stone because they all wished for stuff and they couldn't get rid of it, and they wouldn't renounce their wishes. Either you have to destroy it or you have to renounce your wish. Right. And they couldn't do the one. They couldn't destroy it, and they wouldn't renounce it. So that's how in Wonder Woman the Mayan civilization fell.
Yeah.
And
you don't actually talk about that because that's too dark for a show like this.
That I was sitting there kind of like, damn. I mean, I dig like linking it for it to work with like modern history and make this work. That's cool, but damn, that's dark.
It's better than robot aliens killing the dinosaurs. Yes. Right? So, I mean, yes. Whatever. It's what movies do, whatever.
But, oh God. So basically, this is where we learn the two ways to stop him.
Yeah.
Either get rid of Max Lord, or everyone who's wished on it has to renounce their wish.
Yeah, and you already have the conflict, right? Because Barbara's right there, and she immediately is like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing either of those. No. I like being bad. It makes me feel good.
Yeah, and then she just poofs. She's just gone.
Yeah, she does. She does poof. She Batmans the shit out. She Batmans out of there real quick.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun. And then at this point, Max is full-on Dreamstone guy. He's literally going to every single fucking person he can find and is being like, what do you want? Make your wish. I'll grant it. And it's literally everybody, because there's a really funny scene where there's an old man, like, as everything is just falling down around him, the world's going to hell.
The cows?
The old lady comes up to the old man and goes, hey, we gotta get out of here. And he goes, but my cows. And there's fucking cows in the middle of the field. And he goes, I told this random stranger that I wanted a farm. I mean, here.
That gave me a good laugh. But then when Steve and Diana are in her room, like her home, her like little penthouse thing, you end up, because there is some foreshadowing that happens here. There's like this little, like, I don't know if it's a house or if it was like a canopy to like something maybe to go down into the subway. I don't know for sure. But it just has spray painted on there nukes. Like, which becomes a foreshadow for what happens next.
One thing we haven't touched on, though, is the fact that Diana has a really pretty dope gold suit of armor.
Well, you find that out when they're in there visiting.
Take it away.
Yeah, so like during this time, she basically goes to try to find out where people are to figure out what to do. And so she goes into, like I mentioned before, her room of TVs. Firstly, I didn't mention this earlier, but when she first met Maxwell Lord, she's like, oh, he's do the thing, and he's like, did his like oil bit, and he's like, oh, he's from TV, and she's like, oh, I don't have a TV, and he's like, oh, I have a good hookup at Sears. That was a good nod for Sears too, because Sears was really big back then. And then he's like, I have a contact here, I'll get you in, blah blah blah, and she's like, thanks, I'll stick with the TV I don't have. And then I loved that so much. And then comes this scene where she has like 10 TVs technically.
But she's got fucking CCTV in her back office. She's like, I don't have a TV. But that's amazing that he's like so sure of himself that he's such a hotshot. He goes, yeah, I can hook you up with a 19-inch TV. It's like, this fucking 2020, everybody wants like an 80-inch TV, and like 84, they're like, yeah, 19 inches. It's fucking huge. And then she goes, yeah, no, I'll stick to the TV I don't have. That was good.
I love that. But then at this point, you see her go in, and there's like at least 10 TVs, and it's basically like her little... her area that she sits down, monitors cameras and stuff like that to try to see where bad stuff's happening so she can go out and assist. And in that room is this wrapped in like fabric, cloth kind of blanket, whatever thing it may be. And Steve sees it. Oh, I forgot to touch on something, but I'll get there after this. We'll have to rewind for a second. But
oh boy,
you see this beautiful gold armor. Like she's like, oh yeah, that was an old set of armor that we end up learning about. Do you remember her name?
No. And here's the thing: I wish he's probably not, but I wish my buddy Eric was watching this right now, because I would ask him, because he's my DC guy, and I want him to watch the specific. All of you should watch it. It is a fun movie. Even. We're going to give our ratings later, but it is a watchable movie. It is fun. Because I feel like when they open up the back of the jewelry store and it's got all the black market shit, I feel like every item in there is a reference. But I don't know that much about DC. I'm a Marvel guy. I can tell you everything about Marvel. I don't know that much about DC. So I don't know the references that are probably there just staring me in the face, and then the armor I can't tell you the story about because I don't know the characters that well. But the armor's fucking sweet.
It was so this armor once belonged to a legendary Amazon warrior named Astera. Or Asteria. She basically stayed behind and was like the forefront of for the Amazonian women. Sorry. So like basically, so her sisters could escape to Themyscira.
Yeah, and the scene that they basically show you is this one woman in this sweet ass gold armor, basically taking on the
it has so this is called Diana's Golden Eagle armor. So this armor has wings, and in the scene that you see, like basically they look almost Roman or Greek.
Yeah.
They're probably,
no, she's fighting the Spartans.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure it was the Spartans. You see them just trying to go. You see them trying to go ham on this one woman, and her entire wings encompassed around her as her shield and her barrier. Badass scene. But where was that epicness in the action sequences? That's what I want to know. But whatever.
Well, you made a very interesting point that I'll say when we actually get to the last fight scene, because that's a great thing that you just pointed out. And then Diana goes wherever that battle was and finds the armor. Cool.
Well, she didn't say where she got it. She said that she tried searching for it and she found only her armor. She tried finding Astera, sorry.
I figured that is an actual place somewhere in Greece or something, and she fucking dug up the armor. You know?
Well, Astera is the name of the woman who wore it.
Correct. But where the battle actually happened, I'm saying.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
And she went to like some ruins and fucking, and found it.
That's fair. And you do see, by the way, in the beginning, in the very opening sequence that Luke hates.
Good point, bro.
When basically Diana's mother comes and talks to Diana after basically being told, no, you don't get to continue, you cheated. She's like, look to the golden warrior, and you see kind of raising up from like the middle of the thing is this golden like woman with wings.
Yeah,
I'm pretty watching that again the second time. I'm pretty sure that golden warrior, like that is like kind of the foreshadowing to her golden armor as well that we see. Correct. I also wish we never saw the golden armor on the posters.
Or the trailer. Like, it would have been badass to have that be a big reveal. Because everyone knows I will preach that people they show too much in trailers nowadays. Christian, thank you for stopping by, man. I appreciate the support. Have a good night.
Thank you.
I'm only giving this movie a pass with shit like this because of the pandemic and with theaters not being packed like they have been. So
and
I
that
feel
is
like
fair.
as far as marketing goes, they probably felt like they had to just to make sure like somebody please come to the theater and watch our movie. I guess it worked.
I mean that's fair, but
I don't like it. I don't like it either. But what are you gonna do?
I mean it is what it is.
But now we get into my fucking favorite shit of this movie because, like I said, Max is full dreamstone now, right?
Yeah.
And he's given everybody wishes. He goes to the president to get like ultimate power or whatever. But also his side effect is that every time he grants a wish, he's essentially dying, right? But his plan is actually pretty fucking smart because not only is he granting a wish, but every time he grants a wish, he gets like a new one himself.
So what we learned earlier when they were talking to the Mayans was, learning about the talking to the Mayan shaman. Sorry, you learn that the stone grants your deepest wish, but also takes the thing you hold dearest to yourself. So you see. With Barbara, it gives her what she wants. She wants to become Diana. She wants to become powerful, stronger, beautiful, more liked. But it was taking away her humanity.
Right.
And,
for Diana, it's her powers.
Yeah, for Diana, she gets Steve, her true love, back. She's losing her powers. So, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Because since we're on this subject, I thought it was going to be different for Max. I thought they were going to take something else. I didn't think it was going to be him withering away. I thought they were going to take something else.
Yeah.
That I'll get to in probably another 10 minutes. Just saying. I don't want to give it away now.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one thing I did want to bring up, and my apologies for glossing over it earlier, was they full on steal a plane from the Smithsonian.
The jet. Just because he wants to fly a plane.
Yeah.
Fly a jet.
Yeah. Well, he couldn't. They couldn't get him on. They couldn't get him on a jet because on a plane because he doesn't have a passport. So no big deal.
That's how he gets to Egypt, is by flying that jet.
Correct. But she did say to him, which becomes kind of an important thing in a little bit, which I got super excited for when she finally flies. But spoiler warning. He ends up saying, she says to him, like, I don't, this has always been your thing. This is the one thing that reminds me of you, and it's one thing I never understood. And he basically goes through, like, flying is like knowing the direction of air, knowing how to ride it, how to glide with it, how to become one with it. And that becomes an important thing that happens not too long later where we're currently at in our discussion.
Yeah, because Diana ends up fucking flying. Right?
Yeah. Which,
I mean, I'll let you talk about why in a second, because you're right. And they, big spoiler, they do the invisible jet, and when they do it, I audibly went, "Fuck off! You fuck off right now."
I loved while she was doing it. Like, I loved the whole thing. She was like, "Oh right, I forgot. They have this thing called radar, so they're gonna see wherever you go." And he's like, "Are they gonna shoot at us?" And she's like, just silently, he's like, "Well, god damn it, Diana!" Like, I loved that.
Here's the thing about that, though, is I thought, like, I like her reasoning for it, because Diana goes, I've been trying to figure out and study up on how my mother has been able to keep Themyscira hidden and invisible. I thought it was going to be some kind of, like, technological thing that they can only do in Themyscira. No, it's basically just bullshit magic.
Yeah, which I'm okay with.
I'm okay with it, too, but, like, it just comes out of nowhere, and it's kind of like a throwaway, because we only see the jet that one time, right? And who knows if it's going to come up in the third one? I doubt it, because she's flying now. So it was just this really throwaway thing, and I was like, "Oh, we got bullshit invisible magic now."
I love so much that when she's like trying to figure it out, and she's like, "I've only tried this once before on a coffee cup."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, well, how'd that work?" She's like, "Well, I lost the coffee cup." I enjoyed that so much. Yeah, that was a cute little thing. But
all right, we'll go ahead and get to the flying now.
Yeah, so first things first. So about the nuke foreshadowing. He goes to the president, and basically because he wants his power. He wants the power that he holds. And basically he asks Max, "What do you wish for?" And he like is playing and was talking about the Russians and shit. And he's like, "I wish for more nukes." And it's like, there we go. And
so he's and I double checked this, I Googled it, because the president in this movie is more or less Ronald Reagan.
Yes. Yes.
And Ronald Reagan's just like, "Yeah, I just want nukes everywhere." Like, hey, it works, I guess.
Yeah. But with the president, Ronald Reagan, making the wish for more nukes, he's like, "All right, I take your power," and blah, 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 blah. And then he turns to leave, and he sees, like, these boards.
Yeah, the satellites.
Of these satellites, and he's like, "What's this?" And he's like, explain to him, like, "Oh, this allows us to basically hijack everyone's TV signals anywhere and broadcast." It's basically as if we're touching them.
Because Max is being so drained and it's going so slow to grant the wish, and because he's stealing life force from everybody that he grants the wish to keep himself alive.
Correct.
But it's taking a toll on him to do that. Like, he's not getting the life force ratio to wish, right? And that's why he's withering away. So he comes up with this scheme of, if I could just grant a massive amount of wishes at once, I'll get all the energy that I need. And as soon as he sees those satellites and he gets told, "You can broadcast to the world," he's like, "Perfect. That's exactly what I need."
This is what I need.
I like that plan.
Yeah, awesome. It was inventive, and I did like that a lot. And
by the way, oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's just during this time, Diana and Steve figure out that he's there.
Thank you, Lindsay Games.
Yes, thank you, Len. Thank you so much. But during this time, Diana and Steve are making their way to the White House.
Yeah.
Oh, and that poor guy. There's this guy that has constantly been, like, basically, I feel like, trying to get in Diana's pants.
Oh, yeah, they use him to get in, and he's, like, talking.
He's like, "Oh, I think you'll really like this." And they're like,
yeah, they just dip. They just leave. I loved it. That was amazing.
That was great. But sorry, I don't want to miss anything you were going to say. Are we flying the same way, or?
Yeah, I'm just kind of skipping ahead now because it gets to where the fighting starts and it gets exciting because they're trying to get their hands on Max because they decide Max has got to go.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. He's got to go. So Diana and Steve are trying to get their hands on Steve so that way they can kill him, basically. He's got this whole huge security force now because he's constantly stealing everybody's shit. There's a nice action sequence with Diana and Steve both fighting these guys with guns because Diana is not invulnerable anymore. And then fucking Barbara shows up, which, Dreaded, I'm glad you're still here because my favorite moment is when Barbara shows up and she hits Diana and she like goes sliding across the floor. And then she looks up and sees Barbara for the first time and she goes, Barbara? And I'm not even kidding. When she did that, I immediately, because of how Barbara's been acting and like how the character's being portrayed and how she looks even, after Diana goes, Barbara, I was like, no, Venom.
That's funny.
That's what that reminded me of, man. She reminds me of fucking Eddie Brock from Spider-Man 3. I mean, it's better, but that's what it reminded me of.
It's like, I really enjoy... I enjoyed this action sequence in the fact that this is basically when Diana calls out Barbara saying, what the fuck are you losing?
Well, not even just that, but that's like the real first time that Barbara's got her back, or not Barbara, Diana has her back up against the ropes, right? Because not only is she not strong enough to take on Barbara, but she's also got to save the security guys from getting absolutely annihilated by Barbara. Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. And she's pretty beat after that.
Dude, Dreaded, you ain't lying. He's spot on, man. He is spot on.
That's hilarious.
Minus the goofy electric eels that fix your teeth.
Ew.
You need to watch the movie, alright? I know you don't get it, but everybody else does. I hope everybody else does. But yeah, you're right, because Diana is getting her ass beat, and then she looks up at Barbara and she goes, look, you used to be this wonderful, nice person that just loved everybody, and now look at you. And then Barbara's like, yeah, but look at you. You're getting your ass beat, so you're losing shit too, homie.
Yeah, and she's basically, like, calls Diana out, too, like, what have you lost? Because one thing that we did skip over the dinner Barbara and Diana had in the beginning, she does ask, oh, have you ever been in love? And she's like, I was a long time ago, but he died, and he was a pilot. Yeah. And so when she meets Steve, she never told Barbara his name, but she's like, this is my old friend Steve. He's like, hi, I'm a pilot. And she's like, wait, like, the pilot? Like, and then that just gets glossed over for the rest of the film until this point when she nods towards Steve's like, but don't you see what you're losing? Kind of like, you're losing yourself because you got your man back.
Well, I like that too because
I like that.
Well, because Diana doesn't do the right thing on her own. Steve makes her do it, right? Like he gets it. He's like, I was dead. I'm here. I shouldn't be here. Thank you very much. This has been wonderful, but I see what's happening to you. You're way more important than I am. Yeah. So, come on, dude. You know what needs to be done.
Yeah, and then there's after this whole moment at the White House, they're going out and like shit's going down because basically Maxwell gets away because of Barbara's assistance. Barbara and he ends up being able to take a helicopter with some of the people to the location that this broadcasting thing is at. Yeah, she just shows up and like got room for one more, and he's like, yeah. Definitely. Like, you just saved my ass. Fuck yeah, I do.
Yeah. And that's when you learn about the loophole, is that everybody's only supposed to have one wish, but because Max is now the Dreamstone and he's using life force and shit, he can bypass that, so you can get 2 wishes, and Barbara does get 2 wishes. She
Barbara just sits there all sulking, like, I don't wish to be like anyone else anymore. I want to be an apex predator like no one has ever seen before.
A couple instances like that with Barbara, I got mad Riddler vibes from Batman Forever, and I don't think your movie should ever elicit either Batman Forever or Batman and Robin. I'm just saying, like you don't want to do that. It wasn't often. It was very minute moments, but there's a couple where I was like, yeah, that's Jim Carrey.
I can see that. I could see that.
So, like, this movie reminded me of everything else but a Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, I could see that 100%. I mean, so basically, Diana and Steve are walking through DC, and she's fucked. She's real bruised up, and that's when, like you were saying, he goes to the point where you need to let me go, and she's like, I can't say goodbye again. He's like, we already have.
Yep.
And so
they don't even do it. She just like turns.
Yeah, they kiss, and she just turns and walks away because she can't bear to say goodbye. And I mean, this is the man she's been in love with since the World War. Like, it's been a long time that it's just been her.
Yeah.
And he just says, bye, I'll love you forever. And she just says, I love you. And then I renounce my wish. And then you see her, like, as she's walking on, basically broken. You see everything else around, like, on her start to heal up. And I liked that. I thought that was done well. And
yeah, that's when she flies.
Then she just takes off. And I'm like, fuck yes.
Yeah, it was a cool moment. She basically just rages out and just...
She rages out. She also lassos a plane and then unlassos the plane. And she's flying. And this entire time, like... what he said in the cockpit of the jet was like, you know, it's all about with knowing where the direction of the wind, knowing how to ride it, how to become one with it. Like, that's going over in her head as this is all happening. And I thought it was a touching moment.
It was, but can I just speak on the fact that she flies for a long time? Because Max has like all day.
She's flying, and I'm like looking at Dan. I'm like, so when's she get in the suit?
Yeah, because Max gets into the television, the fucking secret base with all the satellites. He broadcasts all over the world, asks he goes full Goku and asks everybody for their energy. You don't get that reference, and you should, but people in this chat do, and that's fucking phenomenal.
Actually, I do get that reference. I've seen clips of it. Yeah.
Good. Because that's basically what he does. Everybody starts making wishes. You're welcome, bro. Everything just starts going to hell. And then that's when Diana realizes, like, oh yeah, I've kind of been daydreaming up here. Lightning is striking, and she rides the lightning. Now, I thought with the trailer there was going to be some shit with, like, Zeus or something, another god. So that disappointed me that there's nothing like that. It's just lightning that she's riding, but it's still really cool to look at.
It was bad. That made me happy. It was like, fuck yeah, ride that lightning. If anybody doesn't know about me, I also just love, like, storms and thunderstorms, and if I ever get a chance to play, like, characters, like, there's a lot of times storm things related to sand, but anyway, yeah.
But she rides the lightning to go back home and get the armor, and now we're set up for the fucking climax, right? And I love it, because everything that the first one was, and how does she lasso... Dude, I don't know how she fucking lassoed lightning, but she does. All right, well, don't at me.
So I don't know all the details because I'm
sure it has to do with the lasso.
But she lassos the lightning with the lasso of truth, and the lasso of truth always glows, so I'm pretty sure that it's like has some sort of like electrical energy that allows it to happen. And it's not like she lassos it for a long time. It's like a quick lasso as it breaks away, she's lassoing onto the next bit of lightning that comes up. It's not like the lasso lets lightning stay longer. She's just using that to pull her. It's very different, but I digged it.
Well, the properties of lightning and what they do make no sense in this movie, because lightning shows up and plays a part in a few minutes, and it doesn't make any sense how that works either. But she gets the armor, and then she goes to the fucking base.
That's electricity, not lightning, but sure.
Whatever. And she starts fucking people up, and then we see Cheetah